The following content may contain visuals that are disturbing, graphic, or sensitive in nature. Viewer discretion is advised. This material is intended for mature audiences and may not be suitable for all viewers. Please exercise caution while watching, and if you find such content distressing, we recommend discontinuing viewing. This disclaimer is provided to ensure awareness and to prioritize viewer well-being.
President Biden has said in no uncertain terms that launching an offensive in Rafah would be a red line which Israel should not cross. He's also said Israel cannot have 30,000 more Palestinians dead. The UN chief has said a ground invasion into Rafah could lead to a slaughter. Yet we've heard just over the weekend Prime Minister Netanyahu saying Israel will push ahead with a military offensive in Rafah. I have two questions there. Number one, how soon could it happen? Number two, the question really is, where will the 1.5 million Palestinians who are sheltering in Rafah go?
So let's start maybe with saying a word about President Biden. I think that he defined himself as a non-Jewish Zionist. This is how he refers to himself, and I think that he proved himself as a huge friend of Israel from October 7 onwards, really, in an outstanding way. He's getting, he's in a political campaign in the US for the presidency. He's getting some beaten a little bit of some of his base. Some others are supporting Israel very strongly. That's life. It's very tough. One has to understand, you cannot stop. If we want to achieve what we set, to destroy Hamas regime and everything, and the leadership, and bringing back the hostages, Rafah is part of it. You cannot say, okay, I took 70% of the territory, and I know that all the people escaped, the ones who didn't die, the terrorists who didn't die, escaped there and are now in tunnels there, took the hostages with them. So everyone now is in Rafah.
But you do realize, Ambassador, that these are the people who had been asked to evacuate northern Gaza by Israel. And now they're sheltering there. Where do they go?
I'm getting there. So the first, I'm speaking from the military point of view, there is no logic for everything. You will never reach your objectives if you let the leadership and the remaining, I don't know how many militants they have, 10,000, 15,000 militants, and with the hostages, hide there. It means that everything you did so far is a waste. Because they will wait, they know they're protected there by international community or by I don't know whom, and they will do nothing.
President Biden is one of those who has been warning his ally, Israel, that it risks losing international support over the mounting civilian casualties in Gaza. Now, according to the Gazan Health Ministry, the death toll has crossed 31,000, and these are figures that have been quoted also by President Biden, not just by us. We know Gazans are facing starvation. It's a humanitarian catastrophe, Ambassador, that you're well aware of. Are you not worried that President Biden is indeed right in saying that Israel has lost a lot of the support and sympathy that it had in the early days of the war after the 7th October attacks, that now this is an extremely unpopular war with country after country, including the West, saying enough is enough, too many people have died and this war needs to end?
So let's start with the numbers. I mean, the numbers that everyone is quoting are numbers of Hamas. And the numbers of Hamas are not differentiating between civilians and terrorists.
They claim that a vast majority of these were actually women and children.
They don't differentiate between warriors and between civilians. So you don't have any differentiation. We say that we killed many more than 10,000 terrorists so far. This is not in the number. It's in the numbers, in this figure. So we don't know if the figure, and they have an interest of inflating figures, but I have no alternative numbers, so I cannot dispute or do anything else. We do know that we killed quite many. By the way, part of the fighters were 15, 16-year-old kids holding weapons and shooting at us. So that one has to understand that the figures are there. Now, about popularity, about losing, again, there is
about being isolated, Ambassador.
Isolated about everything. Yeah, Jews are popular when they are suffering and they are weak, because after October 7, not everyone, some even then couldn't show compassion to Israel, but many had compassion to Israel, the suffering country. There is one Jewish country in the world, and we are determined with our lives and blood and abilities to protect it, because this is only now, when you see the outbreak of anti-Semitism in the world, you understand the importance of Israel for the well-being of Jews all around the world.
Now, India has said, we condemn terrorism. We were amongst the first countries to come out and condemn October 7. But India has also said so many civilian casualties in Gaza are simply unacceptable, and India remains committed to a two-state solution. How do you view India's stand, Ambassador?
I think that India was very, very strong in its objection to terrorism. We appreciate it very much. It started with Prime Minister Modi already in the afternoon of October 7, before we understood the magnitude of the disaster. I have no problem about humanitarian aid and assistance. We are doing the utmost to bring as much humanitarian aid as possible into Gaza. The limitation today is not connected to Israel, not because of our limitations. Limitations, the fact that Hamas is taking over a lot of the aid, and attacks on trucks by population, a lot of problems in how you do it, but in general, we are for, and I will tell you something else, we are also for a political solution at the end. And as I said before, we'll see what kind of political solution we get to. So we don't think that the military solution is the end game. Now we have to do the military, to take military action. We didn't leave Gaza in 2005 in order to come and reconquer Gaza. That was not in the cards. We left Gaza alone even when they shot at us. The attack on Israel was not the first attack. Every few months they used to shoot rockets at Israel, tens and tens and tens of thousands of rockets. And if not hundreds of thousands of rockets over the years. And we didn't go and conquer until they did the huge mistake of this invasion that was really, Israel could do nothing but go in. And we want that in Gaza, we don't want to rule Gaza. We want that there will be some kind of a civilian body.
And that was my next question. What is Israel's post-war plan for Gaza? You keep saying we don't want to reoccupy, we don't want to govern. Who will?
No, so I will say again, on the civilian side, we don't want to control the lives of 2 million Gazans. We have no wish whatsoever to do that. So our hope is that we will find a local international body that will run the daily life of people.
Critics say Israel wants to scatter the Palestinians, drive them out of Gaza, have other countries in the Middle East like Egypt resettle them. By doing that, Israel will end up displacing the Palestinians from their homeland and doing exactly what they've been accused of being their primary motive. How would you respond to that?
You know, all along the interview, you are throwing things and leaving them there as a fact.
No, I'm asking you questions.
No, but this is another one, and I have to relay, because every time I say something, you finish it with this, but others say, and go on. No, my answer is the opinion of Israel. Your opinion or other people's opinion, we leave them aside. Coming to that, we are 6 months into the war. Was any one person displaced? That's the answer. We didn't displace anyone. We are 6 months into the war. People want us to finish now. So now the thinking is that Israel is going to displace. We didn't do it for 6 months, and now we will start. I think it's very clear that it's part of the allegation game and people being afraid. We are doing nothing of the sort. We want to move them inside Gaza because it's our duty to make sure that they can escape the fight that we are planning with Hamas in Rafah. This is the point here, and this is what we did in the north before we went in. This is life. This is life. We have to do it, but we are not pushing people into neighboring countries.